Thank you. I really want to be great. Express my appreciation of the able says for, the able says there's no cane in them at all. So there's the,
He's the able in the stuff.
you're the king. Your ministry, really, a national level, continental level ministry to support all of our families, first, second gen. So I really appreciate that. Give a shout out there. And also, okay, I'll figure that. Now I wanted to ask if there's any specific issues. I asked already one young man here who said, for me to address, and that is, how do you bring up the subject with your children? And how do you reconcile differences of opinion you might have with your children in the process? So I can talk about those questions. Any other, specific things that you might want me to address? We have 5 kids, and I'll review that anyway, just to give a context. 5 children, 4 girls, 1 boy, and 4 of them are matched and blessed. 1 is not. And just as a context there. We have 6 grandchildren and 7 on the way. So that's really and you realize, it's really in God's hands. You can't do it. You don't do any of this by yourself. It's all sort of mysterious in a way, and spiritual, and yet we have to have a lot of faith and persistence, perseverance, and also principle about it. And so if there's no other questions in specific, I'll just go forward here. I'll go to about 1:30. So we started in 2002. We were from our children, our 2 daughters, 2 girls, a boy, and then 2 more girls. So they were 17 and 18. And so back then, that was right around the time Father said parents should match their children. And so, but there were no, John Abel says, and Helen Abel said, there was no guidelines for it. Just, there it is, you can do it. So we kind of just took we can just match them like that. So our first daughter, I was at UTS, and one of our students there, second gen, said, he knew our daughter living there, I won't say her name, and he said, so-and-so would be a good match for her. He named somebody who's, so there's this 20-year-old kid saying, here, this guy should be a good match for your daughter. And I knew his parents, and so I thought, and they lived in New York, and I thought, yeah, okay, that's good. So we called the parents, we got together with the parents and our daughter and their son in a coffee shop, and we had lunch with the parents, and they had lunch with each other, and then we finished our lunches, and they came over, and we said, would you like to be matched to each other? And they went, yeah, okay. Yay! That was easy. So maybe a month or 2 later, he came up. They started communicating, and back then our mind was, it's like, Father, you're matched. That's it. Now I'll just get on the escalator and there you go. And but a couple months later, he came up to Berrytown, and we got to know him, and we loved him, and then we had a little matching ceremony with them. We just pulled it together in the chapel there and prayed together and said, this, in front of God, you're matched, you're engaged, and we prayed all together. And then, we just tried to support them. We did support them as much as we could. We talked to him. We got to know him more and more. We thought he was great. he is great. He is great. We thought he was great for our daughter, but ended up she didn't think so. So we could see, they would spend time together and go on walks together, and they'd spend time together, and it just seemed like it wasn't going anywhere, because 2.5 years, and they'd never said, well, hey, we're going to go to the blessing now, and we're kind of wondering, Anyway, finally, after 2.5 years, she told us she doesn't think it's going to work. And so we weren't totally surprised, because it didn't seem like it was working. But anyway, she just said that to us, and we said, okay. We met his parents and conveyed that to them, and they had another son who had gone through 5 years before, with father's matching, 5 years of nothing happening, and before they started, their family life, etc. They said, be patient, But we weren't patient. We didn't counsel her patience. We just accepted her announcement. And that's what happened. Second child was very different. The young man's sisters, two of them were students at ETS, and they saw their second daughter and got to know her a little bit because they're youth group and stuff like that. And so they thought, oh, she would be good for our brother. And so I guess one of them sort of helped, and I just learned this from my wife yesterday, how this was going on between the daughter and her parents, especially her mom, about our daughter. And but as far as I knew, what happened was our daughter was on SDF, and then she went, after she finished SDF, she went to Korea with another sister of the young man, and to study Korean at Sunmun. And as it turned out, as her parent, the young man's parents, and my daughter's friend's parents lived like a short distance from Sunmun. They were spending time in Korea. They lived there. And so many weekends, my daughter and their daughter would come home and spend the weekend with them. And so his mom was like scoping out our daughter. And so I went to Korea on some occasion, and I met her at Sunmun, and just spent a little time. And she said, yeah, I've been visiting the family, and oh really, and she said, I think, and they have a son, she said, I think they want me to get matched to their son. And she'd never met him, she'd just seen his picture, and I said, well, what do you think about that? And she said, yeah, it's okay. Like that. She was so, trying to tell the story about True Mother, that True Mother was like informed by some third party, oh, please prepare for the blessing, you're going to be blessed to, True Father. And True Mother said, oh, is that so? Like that. And I just, I felt like, it's just like my daughter, it's okay. So then she stayed in Korea, we came back. Then he came to Berrytown, and from where he lived, and hosted by a sister. We went out to dinner together, and we thought to check him out, due diligence here. We had actually a dinner with him, and we thought, yeah, he's a good guy, good young man. And long story short, he agreed, she agreed, they had never met. Oh. They never, I don't think they'd ever communicated even. But this was 2002 and 3. This was like the Stone Age, right? So we decided we're going to have the matching ceremony in our house at Berrytown. And that's going to be the first time they meet. And we've got a video of it. My wife didn't want to show you, but we have a video of him walking into the house, and she's there, and the first time they lay their eyes on each other. And so everything has just been, it was very wonderful, very wonderful. It just God's grace, complete opposite of the older daughter, which I don't think is going to work. This really worked. And then they went to the mansion. It really worked. So it's like God works. God works either way, both ways. There's always a plan and a purpose. And then I remember she was living at home, but they visited. He lived some distance away, but they were blessed. But they didn't. And she was going to finish community college before moving there. And then, but they get together every now and then. And one morning we come downstairs, or evening, she's like sitting in the living room on the couch, and she's like, "Got something to tell you." "Yeah, what is it?" And she starts laughing and then crying, and then laughing, and then crying. "I think I'm pregnant." And she's laughing, and then she's crying, and she's laughing. I've never seen such a thing. So she's pregnant. So she got, so morning sickness. Anyway, that's another. Okay, third, our son, one son. How do we bring it up with them? I don't know. I think just the milieu that we have there in Irvington, where we lived, near East Garden, and Red Hook, where there's lots of church culture, let's say. It was just kind of a given. They just accepted it. We accepted it. A given that you're going to be matched and blessed in the church to somebody in the church. Just that was the way. So in a way, we didn't have to. It was very easy to bring it up. It was more like, "Well, are you ready yet? Are you ready yet?" Then they say, "Wait, no, I'm not." And usually it's my wife, the daughter, with them. "Are you ready?" "No." "Yeah, okay. Let me know." There's no way like that. So he was ready, and we on his behalf pursued one young lady who we thought would be good, and for him, and he was okay, but she didn't accept, so that was okay. Then along came two parents. Along came two parents, announced a matching for second gen and first gen too. It was 2008, seven or 8, and so he went to two parents matching, and he went and he accepted, and that was that. And the next day they were blessed, and that was that. And it's worked out, and they live here in the Triangle area, so the local folks know what I'm talking about. Just two parents matching, two parents blessing, and somehow both of them could digest it, and they're happy. And they are happy. They have a very good, solid relationship, and two children, third one coming. Okay, so. Fourth and fifth, two more girls. And both of them kind of followed a similar kind of course. Not exactly, but similar, that this is when now the advent of matching websites and stuff like that. So we started looking on the websites and making suggestions. And for the fourth child, we had someone that we really thought was it, for her. And we met his parents, we met him, I guess we met him. No, we didn't meet him. We met his parents. And we heard about him from his parents. And also we looked at his profile and all of that. And we just thought, this guy, that our daughter, she made a sincere, I think, but she at least went through some steps of putting up with it, I guess, but we couldn't believe it. She didn't want to be matched to him, even though he's Mr. Perfect from our point of view. So we accepted it, and it was a little bit hard to actually tell his parents, because we'd almost like, hey, we're going to deliver our daughter to you, and they were very, positive about that. So, so then we went back to the matchbook, and we looked, and we suggested, I guess like we're supposed to be, got 3 or 4 from and no, she didn't. And then a young man's parents just thought, we were reached out to by his parents through third party, and I knew him a little bit from STF. Thought he was good person. So anyway, then we introduced, and she said, like at first, the other got her, yeah, maybe, like that. Maybe. So we met him. He came to Berry Town, and we met him. We had breakfast with him, and I'd already knew him, like I said, from SCF, and I had a good impression of him. Musician, play drums, and so we had breakfast with him. We thought he was a good young man, and we timed it. And she came. We had, we'll meet him at 8, whatever. We'll have breakfast, and then you come at 9, and then you guys can go off and talk. So it happened like that, and they talked, and they decided, okay, let's do it. So there was a period of, I don't know, a few weeks, months, where of them related to each other, and they ended up going to the blessing in Korea. And that was good. And then the last one also similar. We found our matchbook, and we went through 2 who we really thought, again, were good. I'm like a person who thinks every guy is good. If I'm good, they're good. And my wife said, you're not so good. I think I'm good, so they're good. Anyway, yeah, like Reverend Zinman. I'm very conservative, very vertical, very fundamentalist kind of person. And that has benefits and it has liabilities. In any case, we went through the first one. I reached out to some church leaders, and one of the church leaders, and I introduced my daughter to the church leader, and then I said, do you have anyone that you know who would be good for her? And so one church leader did and suggested them, and they communicated by email and maybe phone for maybe a month or 6 weeks or so, and then she said no. She said that won't. So and also we talked to his parents also, and but she just wasn't okay. And then we went through that again, the second one. He actually came and met her. They spent time together, etc., etc. Finally, she said no, thank you. And then the third, she said, yeah, okay, let's try it. So these 2. This is really they just, from the get-go, they're talking for literally 2 hours a day on the phone, 2 or 3 hours on a day per day on the phone. And I just couldn't believe it, because I didn't expect that. I didn't expect it at all. I thought it would be very difficult, that in this case. I thought it would be very difficult, but it's just been so wonderfully blessed and smooth. And I thought she wasn't really that religious, but they decided to go to the blessing in Korea, And we were so happy and thrilled, really. So that's the little history of our family's fortunes in this regard, in this area. So how do you deal with the reconciling differences of opinion? Well, if it's, I think we basically were very agreeable with our children. If they said no, they didn't, well, maybe too agreeable, but when they, as I recounted, when they said, I don't think this is going to work, we just united, supported them in that, and said, okay, that's fine. We want it to work. We want it to work for you, and so we would just facilitate the closure of the relationship. So that answers that question. So again, not to say all you parents, you should be really agreeable, because I think about the first case, we should have been a little more encouraging to give it a try, but we pretty much, because this first daughter still not. We've been trying and trying and trying and trying, and we are, as of today, at this, as we speak, trying, but nothing has clicked yet. So that's been a real path and journey to understand what God's plan is, for a daughter, for some young man somewhere. Okay, so that's my time. Thank you very much.